Happy Thursday. Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And we have an interesting card today. And it made me smile because something occurred just before. And then I read the card and I'm like, oh, I get it. So I'll be happy to see if you get it as well. My guess is you will. So let us start with some tapping and some breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Today's card, good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. Today's card is about allowing for good and for happiness and for joy despite negative things that are going on around us. That in embracing the joy, in taking in what's coming to you, in being willing to receive, you are indeed being of assistance to the universe. Okay? So we haven't had this card deck in a way long time. And the cards are very cheeky. This one's a little less cheeky than some of the other ones, but I think that also rubs up against that, what do I want to call it? A phenomenon. Let's just call it a phenomenon. And it's a learned response. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Welcome. And I want us to take a look at this learned response, especially some of us who were raised in certain faith traditions. It very clearly set us up for this. So, the card deck is Mike Dooley's Notes from the Universe on Abundance, and the card, very pretty clouded up sky with a sunset, I would guess. Maybe it's a sunrise, but I would guess sunset. And what I'm hoping is that we can keep our mind as open as possible to get a sense of how is this playing in my life? How am I self-limiting in this way? And where did I learn to do that? And am I ready to let that go? Okay? So it says, if it was just about surviving, getting by, and keeping things the way they are, then how would you explain your wild imagination? If it was just about sacrifice, selflessness, and altruism, then how would you explain your burning desires? And if it was just about thinking, reflection, and spiritual stuff, then how would you explain the physical world? Get the picture? Want it all. That's what it's there for. Vroom, vroom, the universe. Yes, it is a pretty picture, isn't it? So, the event that occurred as I was prepping Facebook to do this early morning intuitive guidance was the juxtaposition of a story about imam in the U.S. who has been now snatched by ICE and put in a cell. And this person who is writing about him is indicating how much good he's done in our world and how the efforts she wants to put into helping set him free. Then there was a video, an image of a mural in France, huge building, it must be, I don't know, 5-story building, and someone painted a mural of the Statue of Liberty with her head in her hands. And then there was a story from my friend Mara, who is on the vacation of a lifetime with her honey, and the joy that she is radiating doing all these things that were on her bucket list. Good morning, Mel. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. So The juxtaposition is the how many of us were taught stuff such as only allow yourself so much good. You have to sacrifice, you have to suffer, you have to be a noble person, you have to not have too much money, you have to, all the things, right? All the thought process that this card is working to overcome. So the idea that we can't have joy while there's anyone left suffering, that we can't look at the good while there's still bad occurring, when indeed focusing on the good, lifting up the joy, can help turn this whole Titanic around. Okay? So, like it says, get the picture, want it all. That's what it's there for. And it's not a zero-sum game. It's not a scarcity competition. I'll take more and you get less. It's the belief system that there's more than enough to go around. And we can share, and in the sharing, more abundance occurs. I remember that story from, it was an American photographer in Africa talking to a bunch of little kids and putting something at a distance and saying whoever could run there the fastest would get that something. It was a reward, right? And it was a competition. What did the little kids do? They joined hands and they ran all together down to that thing, and then they shared it. Blew the photographer's mind. We need our minds blown in that way. We've been so steep. That's what I've been telling everybody about my trip to Iceland. It was an opportunity to get out of this fishbowl of us versus them and scarcity and mistrust and betrayal and all of the road rage, all the yucky stuff that's going on in America right now that we have fostered, and step into a place where that's not the energy, and be able to see, oh, it isn't like this everywhere. And that's the value of travel, people, seeing things that can be different, that are different somewhere else, and that we have the capacity as well to create the differences we want to have, bring them into focus. Cooperation, collaboration, standing up for our neighbors, putting our foot down with, no, we don't want it this way, speaking our truth, engaging our wild imagination, our burning desires, and the physical world. We can do this. We can do this. We are doing this. There are many who are doing this. More and more of us can step up and do our piece of this. Having the faith and trust that a different way of being is possible. And is not only possible, is probable. We're just working our way through the steps that get us there. So, it's not just about surviving, getting by, and keeping things the way they are. It's not just about sacrifice, selflessness, and altruism. It's not just about thinking, reflection, and spiritual stuff. It's about all of that and so much more. Avail ourselves. Yes, total perspective when you travel. Total different perspective when you travel. When you see other people's living conditions, when you see other people's ways of doing things. So valuable. And if you're feeling like, well, physically I'm not in the shape to be able to travel, or financially I'm not in the shape to be able to travel, you can access tons of useful travel on the internet. Watch some YouTube videos. I've had several people tell me that when they heard I was going to Iceland, they started watching Iceland videos on YouTube. It's a way to learn about other places, other cultures, other ways of doing things that can be of assistance to moving us through this messy stage of breaking up the calcified stuff that isn't working and creating something that's more flexible, works better, serves more people, etc. Hello, Nancy. Let me show you our pretty card for today. So, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to begin to look at things through different eyes. Not through those eyes of limitation that oftentimes we were taught through religious institutions. You know, don't be too big for your britches, don't ask for too much, you gotta, blend into the crowd, all that stuff. That was merely a thought process. We can have a different thought process. We can step into our Christed selves. We can step into our greatness, and we can serve the world accordingly. So, look today for your opportunities to expand your thinking beyond the I can only have this much and I can only do this much. I'm available. Use me. Let me be the instrument in your hand. Let me help create something beautiful and amazing and equitable. Yeah, I'll use the word. It's not a swear word. Equitable. Let's see what we can do. That's what it's there for. Have an awesome Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. And you deserve far more than you're allowing yourself to manifest. Bye-bye.